All right, everyone, good afternoon. Let's go ahead and get started. This, this is the State Expedited Accusations calendar in the State Court of Fulton County, Georgia. I am Judge Melanie Williams. Today is Saturday, October the 28th of 2023. This calendar is for those individuals who have been recently arrested, but the cases have already been formally accused and bound over to state court. All defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney today. Participants, this particular proceeding is being broadcast over the internet as a live stream. It is also being recorded. That means any member of the public can log on and watch. Those who receive a signature bond today, whether through the jail or pretrial, will be reset for the notice. Those who receive a cash or surety bond will be reset to state all purpose, whereby certain aspects of your case can be revisited at that time. All right. Have all members of the Public Defender's Office and defense attorneys had the opportunity to interview their clients?
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good to see you. Everybody's had the opportunity. Mr. Finley, Ms. Woodbury.
Good afternoon, Judge. We still need to interview LaToya Dixon. I understand she's at ACDC.
Okay, will ACDC be joining the Zoom conference shortly? Does anyone know? I'll take the silence as an unsure. I'm sure someone will tell us at some point.
And then,
all right, I'm sorry, Mr. Finley, go ahead.
And then, good afternoon, by the way, Judge. And then just a Mr. Shelton. He's not going to be here. I was unable to speak to him, so he's going to be your medical reset. But that's, okay. I'm not sure.
Is that position 13?
Let me pull it up. It was a Shelton. Let me pull up the calendar.
He's position number 11.
11. Okay, so Shelton is a medical reset.
That's correct.
I'm sorry, 11 is a medical reset and 13 is medical reset?
Position 12 is a medical reset.
Okay. All right.
And Judge, I'm sorry, position 9, Mr. Long, will also be a medical reset.
All right.
Okay, so I'm sorry, 9, 11, and 12?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, who do I have before me now?
Position 13 Wood.
Okay. Thank you. All right, good afternoon, Ms. Woods. Your case is 23 CR 006759G. You're charged with battery, family violence with the offense date of October the 27th. Do you understand your rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Howard, can I have the history, please?
In total, last arrest was in August. Criminal damage to property, second degree. That's 23 CP 220852, and got a DUI conviction 2015.
Okay. All right, Ms. Baker, please proceed. If this is your case.
Good afternoon, Judge. This is my case. This incident occurred at 5785 Orly, O-R-L-Y Terrace. That's in South Fulton. The victim in this case is the defendant's mother. She reported to police that they had an argument, and at some point during the argument, her daughter threw an object at her and struck her in the head. Police officers observed visible injuries on the mother. There was also a struggle at some point, which resulted in further injuries in the form of scratches. You're familiar with the court's record. The state is requesting a surety bond because they both lived at this location. Stay away from Orly Terrace, the mom's house. No further violent contact with the mother, Ms. Carolyn Woods. I expect she may be available on Zoom today, and I would ask that the court hear from her. Also, family violence intervention program, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you.
All right. Is Ms. Carolyn Woods present and wishes to make a statement? And I don't see anyone by that name. So, Mr. Finley, we go to you.
So I do see Carolyn Woods.
Okay. Ms. Woods, would you like to make a statement? You're not required to. We'll give her a few moments, but in the meantime, Mr. Finley?
Yes, Judge. I did speak with Miss Woods. Miss Woods is 45 years old, Judge. She does have community ties. She does have family here and lives and resides and is from Atlanta. As previously stated, she does live with her mom. And I know one thing that Miss Baker mentioned is that they're asking for no further violent contact. I was unable to speak to Miss Woods, the mom. So I would have obviously loved to have been able to talk to her so we could all agree to a no stay away and no further violent contact. But the state is asking for no further violent contact, so obviously I'm going to agree to that. And I am going to ask for a signature bond, Judge, but if not inclined, then a $1,000 surety bond.
All right. And one more time, Ms. Woods, do you wish to make a statement? All right. At this time, defendant will receive $1,000 surety bond. She's to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim. However, I am going to require that she not live there at this time. She can return one time to the incident location with a member of law enforcement to get any items. Additionally, she is to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. And as a reminder, she will be reset to that November the 9th state of purpose, whereby certain aspects of her case, including the stay away, can be revisited at that point. Is there anything further?
Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, Ms. Woods. All right, who do we have next?
Number 14, I'm sorry.
All right. All right, good afternoon. Are you Bree Zagoria?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, your case is 23 CR 00-65758H. You're charged with battery family violence with the offense date of October the 27th. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard.
Second arrest, 2013 domestic battery, knowingly causing reckless bodily harm. That was out of Kansas. Decline to prosecute. I think that's what it said.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Baker.
Thank you, Judge. This event occurred yesterday. Police responded to 10605 Oxford Mill Circle. That's in Alpharetta. The defendant was the complainant. She called 911 stating that her husband had thrown her on the ground after she threw water on him. The victim initially declined to speak with the police officers who responded. So the defendant told the police that they were arguing over infidelity, excuse me, that she threw water on the victim and that the victim threw her on the floor. She said she struck her face against the cabinetry when she was thrown onto the floor, and the officer did observe bruising in the corner of her left eye and a small laceration on her lip. She stated she was able to get away and call 911. She was also noted that she was heavily intoxicated. The victim then agreed to speak with the police, and he said that the parties were arguing following a work event and that the defendant had thrown water on him. And in the kitchen, she struck him in the side of the face and the side of his head, and then she fell down. Again, would note that she was heavily intoxicated. He went upstairs to try and create some distance between the two of them. She came upstairs and put her hands around his neck, and he was able to push her away and call the police. And she called the police, excuse me. And an officer did observe bruising to the victim's left eye and scratches on both his arms, as well as redness on his neck. Officers reviewed cell phone footage at the scene, but it didn't show any physical contact. They determined that the defendant was the initial aggressor because she admitted throwing water on the victim, so they arrested her. We've since spoken with the victim. He is on the Zoom call from what I can tell, and I would ask that the court hear from him. He indicates this is not the first time that the defendant has strangled him. He said that she strangled him last night with both hands using a very firm grip, and that if he'd not been able to push her away, that he would have passed out. He's concerned for his safety, and especially noteworthy that the defendant has repeatedly told him that if he contacts the police about violence in the home, that the police will not believe him. I've mentioned that he documented his injuries. There's some video footage that the state needs to review, but they're very large files. He states he's afraid that the defendant will kill him, and he plans to seek a TPO on Monday morning. The state's requesting a surety bond that the defendant stay away from 10605 Oxford Mill Circle, that she have a one-time law enforcement escort to pick up her belongings. No further contact with the victim in this case, her husband, Michael Zagoria. They do have 2 children. We would ask for a third-party involvement in any child visitation. The state's also requesting a drug and alcohol evaluation and family violence intervention program. And if I haven't stated already, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right,
Thank
I'm sounding for Mrs. Zagoria at this time. If you'd like to make a statement, please unmute your screen, raise your right hand so I can swear you in, please. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right, Mrs. Zagoria, I am not sentencing your wife today. As this is a misdemeanor offense, she is entitled to a bond. What I'm most concerned with today when you make your statement is any concerns you have for your safety and any desire you have is in terms of contact with your wife. But in light of those instructions, what would you like to tell me?
I would just like to state that I was not violent with my wife, that the only time that there was any touching on my side at all was in defense, that there's a history, a documented history of this type of abusive behavior in the relationship, well documented and witnessed, that everything that Ms. Baker stated, I firmly would want and desire deeply for the safety of myself and my family. And that unfortunately, this is not the first time, and I fear that if she's allowed to stay and make content, that it will not be the last, since this has occurred so many times in our history.
All right, I appreciate you coming to court and making that statement.
Thank you for hearing me.
At this time, all right, thank you. At this time, defendant will receive a $1,500 surety bond. She's to have no contact with the alleged victim. However, she can coordinate transfer of the children through a third party. She is to stay away from the location on Oxford Mill Road. She can return one time with a member of law enforcement to get any items. Additionally, she's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further? All right. Best of luck to all involved. Who do we have next?
Position 4, Brown.
All right. Good afternoon. I'm sorry. Oh, Mr. Brown, your case is 23 CR 006760E. You're charged with battery, family violence. Do you understand your rights? All right, Mr. Hart.
6 total. Last arrest was in August, Cobb County, probation. On probation out there for theft by taking. 2020 failure to appear, 2020 theft by deception, first offender, 2019 simple battery conviction.
Okay. All right. Miss Allen, please proceed. Good to see you.
You too. So this is an incident that occurred on the 26th at 2211 Chattahoochee Circle in Roswell. I apologize. On scene, the victim, Mrs. Destiny Sheehy, Shehee, reported that she had returned to the residence where she and her ex-boyfriend used to live to collect some belongings following a breakup. And while there, he shoved her into the bathroom and struck her with closed fists on her head and arms. Police observed swelling and redness to her arm. And the defendant had fled the scene by the time police came. So a report was taken. Shortly thereafter, the defendant returned. Police responded again. The victim was upset, reported that the defendant had come and begun changing the locks in the location. And she described the altercation specifically him accusing her of stealing money, holding her purse as she stood in the bathroom, trying to get out of the bathroom, striking her when she tried to get her purse back from the defendant, trying to call police on her phone, and being thrown into the bathroom and repeatedly struck. She reported on scene that she was afraid for her life and that she felt that she had just been fought like a man. The bathroom scene corroborated the information that a violent incident had occurred in there. It was in disarray. Police attempted to get in touch with the defendant, eventually speaking to him on the phone. He admitted standing in the doorway of the bathroom, holding the victim's purse as she tried to get out. He reported that her behavior was shoving him to get him out of the doorway. He claimed that she punched him in the face and that he never assaulted her, but he wouldn't meet with police, and reported that he'd fled because it was tense and he carries a gun. The incident, Your Honor, is concerning on multiple levels, but the defendant's criminal history, we believe, warrants a bond through pretrial. He has multiple probation violations in his history. In 2021, simple battery on either an old person or a pregnant person, both possible based on the GCIC arrest. And let's see, let me just review one more thing just to make sure I've covered it all. We attempted to make contact with the victim in this case, but have not been successful so far today. So we'd ask for no further contact.
Okay.
It doesn't appear that she lives at the location, so she wouldn't need to be returning.
All right, we are going to sound for Ms. Sheehy. Is that correct? Ms. Sheehy? All right, I don't see anyone with that name, but at this time I'm sounding for Destiny Sheehy. If you are present and wish to make a statement. Hearing none. Ms. Whipper, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. So Mr. Brown, he's originally from Mississippi, but he's been in the Atlanta area since 2019. He is gainfully employed as an electrician. He's an assistant superintendent at K&R Electrical Services. He's also a musician. He graduated from Lincoln Tech in Marietta. That's where he was certified as an electrician. Judge, he is a single father. He has two kids, two small children, ages 3 and 2, who live with him at the residence, 2211 Chattahoochee Circle. Miss Sheehy is no longer at that residence. Those are not her kids. Those kids are from a different woman. He is actively involved in his church, which is Kingdom Harvest in Roswell. And Judge, he firmly denies these allegations. He tells me he cannot afford much of a bond. We're asking for a signature bond today. We would be opposed. It doesn't sound like the state is asking for a stay away from the location. And we don't want to stay away from the location because that's his only home for his kids. So that is our request today, Judge.
All right, defendant's going to receive $1,000 surety bond. He's to have no contact whatsoever with Miss Sheehy. I'm not going to require the stay away. However, I'm going to require that he have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. And as a reminder, he will be reset to November the 9th. Is there anything further?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Position number 7.
All right. Good afternoon. Your case is 23 CR 006761G. Mr. Gabriel, your case, in this case, you're charged with battery, family violence with the offense date of May the 20th. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Hart, can I have his history, please?
arrest, jail with the recommendation.
You said jail recommendation? Okay.
Yes.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. So this is a case that was a delayed report. On July the 20th, through the assistance of a third-party translator, this gentleman's wife, Mrs. Winta, last name Winta, who is a 21-year-old female with a 3-year-old, arrived at the headquarters safety department for APD on Peachtree with help of a translator because she has only been in the United States since April. She reported that she didn't realize she could report and didn't know how to report abuse at the hands of her husband. And she specifically reported an incident in April of this year where the defendant is alleged to have grabbed her by her arms and thrown her into a dresser, causing bruising on her arms, which she took photographs of and presented to police, and pain in her back as a result of striking the dresser. She reported that she had left the home and was currently living homeless and sleeping in a park. And so a very nice woman who was translating for her accompanied her to the police department. We have attempted to get in touch with the victim in this case. Her first name is spelled Gabratensaw, Gabrensaw. But we will need the help of an interpreter and are working on that now. We obviously want to make sure she's got stable housing and perhaps some assistance with U visa.
Okay.
This is obviously this gentleman's first arrest, so we would not be opposed to an SOB. We would ask that it be through pretrial. This is a particularly vulnerable individual who doesn't speak English, needed help to report this incident, and has a very young child and nowhere to live. Thank you.
The name was Wina, W-I-N-A. I know that there's a
Winta is her last name.
Okay, and I'm gonna say she's probably not here due to the language barrier. Is there anyone with the last name W-I-N-T-A, Winta, on this Zoom conference? Okay, Ms. Woodbury, in light of the information before me, what I'm inclined to do is give him a $4,000 SOB through pretrial, require the 1-day anger awareness course. Additionally, I was going to say that he's to have no contact with the alleged victim at this time, and additionally have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Are there any objections that that you would like to lodge at this time, or additional information you'd like to add to the record?
No, Judge, we would agree with that. Our only issue was going to be if there was a stay away, but
it sounds like the victim is not there anymore, so
that's the information I have as well. So we're in agreement with that, Your Honor.
all right. Defendant will receive a $4,000 SOB through pretrial per judge, with the conditions just listed: the 1-day anger awareness, no contact with the alleged victim, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. All right, best of luck to you, sir. That concludes your case at this time. Who do we have next?
Position 1, Adrian.
All right, good afternoon, Ms. Adrian. Your case is 23 CR 006757Y. You're charged with battery, family violence, and reckless conduct with the offense date of October the 25th. Do you understand your rights?
I do.
Mr. Howard, can I have his history, please?
First arrest, jail, recommendation.
All right, thank you. Ms. Allen?
Judge, that's actually
I
my
believe this is
case.
Miss Baker's
Oh, I'm
case.
sorry, Ms. Baker. You
It's
both
okay. It's
were on the
okay.
screen. I'm not used to seeing you both at once. Ms. Baker, please proceed.
Yes, ma'am. This incident occurred at 300 Norcross Street in Roswell. It's a domestic violence incident that occurred on the 25th of this month. The victim is Mr. Calloway. He lives at that location with the defendant. They share that residence. He stated to the police that the defendant pushed him in the chest while they were having an argument, and that at some point he realized the defendant was using a loaded firearm to push him in the chest. Once the victim realized it was a gun involved, he started struggling with the defendant over the gun. And in the process, the victim sustained injuries to his thumb and fingers. Those were visible injuries, which were observed by the police. The victim immediately called 911 and the defendant fled. The state's recommendation or request is a surety bond, that the defendant have absolutely no guns whatsoever, that he stay away from 300 Norcross Street in Roswell, a one-time escort to pick up his belongings, no further contact with Mr. Callaway, family violence intervention program, no drugs or alcohol, and would also ask that the court sound for the victim, Mr. Callaway.
All right, Mr. Callaway, if you're present and wish to make a statement, this is your opportunity to do so. I just need you to turn on your camera and raise your right hand. All right, hearing, seeing none, Mr. Finley.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Adrian is 51 years old, Judge. He has been in Georgia for 20 plus years now, so he does have community ties, does have friends here, so his home base is here in Georgia, Judge. As previously stated, he's is fully employed at Fifth Third Bank, and he's been there for a while. My client, Judge, he does agree to have no contact, so that's going to be a non-issue. And as we did hear in his criminal history, or should I say lack thereof, because he has no criminal history. And based off that, Judge, I am going to ask for a signature bond on Mr. Adrian's behalf. But if you're not inclined, Your Honor, then I would ask for a $1,000 surety bond.
All right, defendant's going to receive a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge, $2,000 on count 1, $1,000 on count 2. He is to stay away from that incident location and have no contact with the alleged victim in this case. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional?
Judge, could you just state what the breakdown was for the signature bond one more time?
2,000 count 1, 1,000 count 2.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Best of luck to you, sir. That concludes your case at this time.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
I got it. Hey, Judge. Hey, Your Honor. Oh, they said right.
You go ahead.
Okay.
Number 3.
I'm sorry, what position is this?
3.
Position 3. All right. Mr. Braid, your case is 23 CR 006756B. Your charge is criminal trespass. Do you understand your rights?
Sure.
Okay, good. Glad to hear that. Mr. Howard?
This is fifth arrest, 2014 burglary, ag assault, criminal damage to property. Those were dismissed. 2010 ag battery, battery first offender. He was recommended. Level 1.
All right, Miss Allen.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident that occurred on the 27th of October at 30 Old Ivy Road. This is a location called Hal's Steakhouse. The owner there, Mr. Samuel Jimenez, reported that this young man had left and was a disgruntled former employee, recently quit, and then started to show up at the location as a customer, behaving inappropriately, being aggressive, walking around following young women who worked there. He was asked to leave and not return to the location. He was in fact there up to 3 or 4 times a day before he was told to leave the location. He was told specifically on the phone by Mr. Jimenez on the 25th of this month to not return. And Mr. Jimenez requested a stay away order done by the police. That was done. And then on the 27th of October, Officer Tommy Ho was told by the valet people on the property that the defendant was seen driving through the parking lot, making himself known in a gold Nissan Sentra that had dealer tags on it. And they were able to identify him. We would ask for an SOB if the court is inclined, but through pretrial, just the behavior described and criminal history. So burglary and ag assault arrest, ag assault under first offender, previously a previous battery arrest. We would ask that that be monitored through pretrial, and obviously a stay away from the location.
Ms. Woodbury, I'm inclined in light of the information before me to go with that recommendation to give him a signature bond, but to send it through pretrial versus the jail and require that he stay away. Is there anything additional you'd like to add to the record or any objection you'd like to launch at this point?
No, Your Honor, we're in agreement with that.
All right, defendant will receive a $6,000 SOB through pretrial. He's to absolutely stay away from House Steakhouse. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional? All
No,
right,
Your Honor.
best of luck to you, sir. That concludes your case at this time. Who do we have next?
I apologize. Is he per judge?
No, he was recommended.
Okay.
No, position number 8.
All right, good afternoon, sir. Your case is 23 CR 0066762F. You're charged with criminal trespass. Do you understand your rights? All right. Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please?
John Lewis, you said number 8,
Yes.
19 total. Last arrest was 2 weeks ago, probation. Yeah. On probation for reckless conduct, possession of a drug-related object, theft by taking, and PI. Criminal trespass, public drunk, another trespass, and shoplifting. All these out of state court. Another trespass, and public drunk. So he's on probation for all that.
Okay. Understood. Miss Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. So this is a criminal trespass case that occurred on the 26th of October in Roswell. Mr. Jean Louis came into the Exxon and on the property after having been given a criminal trespass order previously. This is a location on Holcomb Bridge Road, specifically 11015. He was reported on the location, on scene, kissing the windows of the Exxon, banging on the windows. He had previously spray painted on these windows and had been ordered a criminal trespass and stay away order May the 11th of 2023. He was then returning to the location and can be seen or has been captured on video walking around with a 2x4, yelling at people, walking in and out of traffic. And so when he returned on the 26th of October, police were called. The criminal history in this case indicates that there is a behavioral and also potentially substance abuse issue. So we would request not only a stay away, but obviously no drugs, alcohol, or weapons based on the facts as well. And pretrial, a bond through pretrial. Otherwise, that's at your discretion, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Woodbury?
Yes, Judge, we are asking the court to set a signature bond today. Mr. John Luis, he has been in the Atlanta area for the last 20 years. His mom resides in Roswell with him. She is disabled and he cares for her. Judge, he tells me he was working at McDonald's at the time. He cannot afford much in the way of a bond, so we are asking the court for a signature bond.
All right. Let me see. Defendant's going to receive $1,000 surety bond, and he is to stay away from that location. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional?
No,
All
Your
right.
Honor.
No,
All right. All right. Best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Position number 10.
So my name is Paul Brady.
All right, sir, your case is 23 CR 006763J. In this case, you're charged with battery family violence. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right,
First, jail was recommendation.
first arrest. Okay, thank you. Miss Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a South Fulton Police case. Officer Walker responded to an incident actually in April of this year at 2393 Red Hibiscus Court. Their victim, Culpepper, her last name is Culpepper. Her first name is Shaw Marie, SHAMAURIE, reported that she lived at the location with her boyfriend. He, during an incident, grabbed her physically and pinned her body against the wall. She then was dropped to the floor where he, after ripping at her clothing and ripping her shirt open, dragged her across the floor, causing scratches and visible bruising that police observed. She reported that this was not the first time that there had been violence, and she was seen to have marks on her neck and her collarbone area. The defendant had fled the scene before police arrived, but while police were on scene, he was sending the victim taunting text messages and taunting her through the Ring camera. I don't know if you're aware, but you're able to use your voice and communicate through that. So at that point, a warrant was obtained, and it looks like he has been located now, which would explain the reason this is a delayed arrest. I do see that this is his first arrest, so obviously we would leave that to Your Honor's discretion, but we have made attempts to get in touch with the victim and have been unsuccessful. And I think in light of the facts and the report that this was not the first time that there had been violence, we'd certainly request no further contact and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Can I have the victim's name again?
Shaw Marie, all together, I'll spell it for you, Culpepper, SHAMAURIE, last name Culpepper, CULPEPPER.
All right, I'm sounding for Shaw Marie Culpepper at this time. All right, hearing none. Ms. Woodbury, I'm inclined to give this defendant a signature bond through a pretrial, require no contact and the stay away, and require the 1-day anger awareness course. Would you like to lodge objections or state anything additional for the record?
Judge, we have to oppose a stay away in this case, and I'm going to explain why. I actually spoke to Miss Culpepper prior to court today. She told me she's no longer residing at this address. The 2393 Red Hibiscus Court address is Mr. Pullum's house that he owns, and I actually looked that up on the Fulton County Tax Assessor website and confirmed that he is the owner of that address. He resides there with his mother, Yvette Pullum, who is currently going through a divorce and is not working at the moment. So he's taking care of her. He also has a 12-year-old son who visits him on the weekends and stays at the house. So we would absolutely be opposed to a stay away. And I actually have the address in Austell, Georgia.
I'm not asking for a stay away from the location. I just want no further contact.
Okay.
I heard the judge say something about
I did say stay away. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll strike the stay away based upon the representation that she does not reside there.
And we would ask, for the record, we would ask for no further violent contact.
All right, having not heard from the victim, I'm not going to do that quite at this time. But defendant will receive a $5,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. He is to take the 1-day anger awareness course and have no further contact with the alleged victim in this case. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
We have 3 people that were not on the calendar. It's Tariq Gray, Kevin Thomas, and Miss Erica Towns.
I
Okay,
have Erica Towns, and I'm actually filing down Mr. Tariq Gray now. I
has the
apologize.
add-on come, what, is there an announcement for position 2?
Wade,
Oh, he waived appearance, okay,
position 5, Wade as well.
okay. And position 6?
She's at ACDC.
Are they logging on?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I have that she's been booked in on this charge for 5 days. So Ace, can we call ACDC? At this point, she has to she should have had a first appearance 2 days ago.
I think they said she came from somewhere else without a bond.
She was bind up without a bond, yeah.
Yeah.
Even it's a binder, it doesn't, she still has to have a first appearance within the 72 hours. No one can call ACDC?
Stand by, Judge. Somebody
Thank you.
called in there.
All right, and we're gonna do has the add-ons come down yet? Have they been filed down? So should I have a case number and can do those?
We're waiting for the cases to be filed down completely, Judge, so that the clerk can send out a calendar.
Okay. All right, so we'll be on a very brief hold until we receive those. Thank
Want to do
you.
the waivers?
No, not yet. Thank you, Mr. Howard. One moment. All right, I'm now ready to do the waive cases. We're gonna take at position 2 the case of Damian Bennett, 23 CR 006748D, in which Mr. Bennett is charged with simple battery against a police officer. Mr. Howard, can I have the history for that defendant?
29 total. 2022 simple battery against police obstruction, felony. On probation for criminal damage to property, 2nd degree. Got failure to appear from last year, 2021. PI convictions, 2020. 2015 battery conviction, 2019 simple battery conviction.
That's good. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Baker?
Thank you, Judge. This incident occurred on the 25th of October. The victim is a police officer, Officer Ireland. He was flagged down by pedestrians on Borders Drive who indicated that the defendant had been injured. He found the defendant on the ground. He was conscious, had a cut over his left eye. The report was that he had fallen and struck the curb. His head had struck the curb. Using his medical alert bracelet, the officer was able to identify him and unfortunately found out that he was also wanted. So they took him to Grady for treatment. And during the course of that at Grady, he spat on the police officer and struck him in the face and the arm. Notwithstanding all of the above, the officer in his report continued to express concerns for the welfare of the defendant. Apparently, he had numerous visible injuries from some other incident that must have occurred prior to falling and striking his head. The state is requesting a signature bond through pretrial, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Okay. I'm not sure that I'm inclined to do that. Mr. Finley?
All right.
Oh, this is my case.
I'm
Judge.
sorry. When you both are on the screen, it's unclear.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Feel free to stay on the screen though, Mr. Finley.
I'm
Ms. Woodbury, please.
I'm rusty with the with all the little
It's okay.
nuances.
It's fine. Ms. Woodbury, please proceed.
Yes, Judge, Mr. Bennett, he's 43, he is homeless, and he is disabled. He tells me that he has epilepsy, and he has not been able to work, for at least 13 years since he was diagnosed with epilepsy. He does have a probation hold, for felony probation, so he wouldn't be bonding to the street. We would just ask for a signature bond on this charge.
Okay. Has anyone from PAD spoken to him? Might he be eligible for PAD services? No?
I certainly don't object to him being considered.
They're not here on the weekends.
Okay. Well, understood there.
Here, Judge.
What I'm considering doing then, Ms. Woodbury, is to give him the SOB through the jail, but require he undergo a BH before his release. Does the public defender's office have any objections? So perhaps he could still be linked with PAD if he qualifies. And it sounds like he has a hold anyway, so wouldn't be released immediately. But that's up to you.
That's fine, Your Honor.
Okay. Defendant's going to receive a $5,000 SOB through the jail. He's to undergo a BHET prior to his release from the Fulton County Jail. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. And Ms. Woodbury, if you may want to let Mr. Howard know what I've done in that case. And if modification needs to be done based upon his ineligibility for PAD for any other reasons, you and Ms. Baker can email me and we can revisit this maybe through some other consent bond. All right.
Oh, I will, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. We will now take up the case of Terrence Koffel, 23 CR 006732C, in which he's charged with battery. Mr. Howard, his history.
What number is this?
Number 5.
11 total. 2023 probation violation. He got an open case for ag assault.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me see. 23 S1. I was gonna give you case number.
Go ahead. I think I've had him on SA. I remember his name. All right. Continue, Mr. Howard.
Oh, you want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
3 SC 188205. Ag assault cruel to the children. 2020 simple assault, simple battery conviction. I think he's a CPO from prison too.
Okay.
The Brooklyn said.
All right. Ms. Baker.
Thank you, Judge. He already has a $5,000 bond. We're requesting that be a surety bond if it's not already. The offense date is August the 11th of 2023. The victim, a Marshawn Shepard, called 911, said her former boyfriend had argued with her and thrown her cell phone at her, struck her in the face. He also pulled her out of the car, made her strike her head on the pavement. Officers did observe multiple lacerations to her lip and arms, as well as swelling on the left side of her face and eye, which is consistent with her recitation of what the defendant did to her. We're also asking that he stay away from 135 Lost Springs Lane. That's a South Fulton address, unless that's his house. And I don't think that they live together. Also, no further contact with Ms. Shepard. Her first name is spelled MARSHAUN, Marshawn Shepard. Family violence intervention. Stay away from the victim's residence or place of business if she does not live at that address. I would also ask for no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and that the court sound for the victim, please.
All right, I'm signing for Ms. Shepard at this time.
Thank you.
All right, hearing, seeing none. Ms. McLeod, is this your case?
It is, Your Honor.
All right, please proceed.
And I spoke to Ms. Shepard today, Your Honor, and she told me she would have been on the Zoom, but I do not see her, but I did speak with her. My client is 26 years old, Your Honor. He tells me that he lives in Union City, so he does have a Union City address, which is different from the address that the state is asking for this stay away from. He does have a 6-year-old child, which he tells me that he shares with the alleged victim. When I spoke to her, she tells me that this happened some time ago, that they have been in touch since and are continuing to co-parent their children. She says she was drunk on the incident, when the incident occurred, Your Honor, and that was the reason why they got into an argument, because he was trying to help her get into the house. My client apparently has some hold, Your Honor, so I would ask the court to consider giving him a signature bond, given that he's not going to be getting out of jail anytime soon. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. At this time, I'll give the defendant $1,000 surety bond. He is to have no contact with the alleged victim at this time. I'm not going to require to stay away based upon the information that they do not live together. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and he'll be reset to state all purpose on the 9th of November.
Thank you, Your Honor. That concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Take care. Have a good day, Ms. McLeod.
Thank you. You too, Your Honor.
All right. Is this position 6, Ms. Dixon, on the line? All right, Ms. Dixon, can we unmute Ms. Dixon for a moment? Is that Ms. Let's clarify that it's her. Can we unmute just for a moment?
That again?
All right, are you Ms. Dixon?
Yes, I am.
All right, Ms. Dixon, your case is 23 CR 00672-7F. You're charged with criminal trespass and giving false information with the offense date of October the 21st. I'm Judge Melanie Williams, and this is the State Expedited Accusations calendar. You have certain rights today. I'm going to explain them to you. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney today. This particular proceeding is being broadcast over the internet as a live stream. It's also being recorded. That means any member of the public can log on and watch. Do you understand your rights and how I'm conducting this hearing today?
Yes, I do.
All right. Ms. Woodbury, you told us that you did not have the opportunity to interview Ms. Dixon?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. Would you like to do that briefly?
Yes, please, Judge.
All right. Can we please put those ACDC and Ms. Woodbury in a breakout? But before you go, Mr. Howard, will you give us her history?
She wasn't on the report sheet. So
Oh, so you don't have.
I'm assuming the state has it.
We'll defer to the state. All right, Ms. Woodbury, if you and if we could have that breakout commence. Thank you.
Did you say?
And any update? We don't have any case numbers yet, so we will be back on hold. Thank you. Okay, can we do Ms. Towns now that we have a case number? It's my hope that she's not represented by Mr. Finley. Is that your case?
Yeah, she spoke to Zach Finley.
Okay, Mr. Finley, are you here? There we are. This is your
Sorry.
client. Confirming Ms. Towns is your client.
Yes, sorry, my audio was messed up. Can you repeat really quick?
Can you hear me now, Mr. Finley?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Apologize.
All right, confirming that Ms. Towns is your client.
Yes, I did speak to Ms.
All
Towns.
right, let's do this case. Ms. Towns, your case is 23 CR 006766B. You're charged with battery and discharge of a firearm on or near a public highway with the offense date of October the 26th. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Howard, can I have the history?
Third arrest. Last was in January, simple battery. That's open in state court. 23 CR 000596B. And a 2012 battery dismissed.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll be brief. The January battery that is open, so Ms. Towns is currently on bond, is actually an assault against the same victim from the arrest here on October the 26th. Police were dispatched to 1195 Milton Terrace Southeast, where Officer Mason met with the victim in this case, as well as the defendant. The victim reported that she and her current boyfriend, who shares a child with the defendant, were at the location. Victim, Miss Kay, conversation with this defendant's current husband. This defendant observed that conversation and became irate, began yelling through a telephone at the victim, and then began to assault her with hands to face. Mrs. Key was seen to have a bloody laceration to her lip and a bruise on her neck. During this assault, others tried to intervene but were not successful, and then the defendant took out her firearm and discharged that firearm into the air. The defendant spoke to police, admitted that she fired her gun into the air, and claimed that her husband was attacked by the victim, and so that's why she had to jump in, but there were no injuries seen, and the reports of others on scene did not corroborate that. In addition, she has an open arrest and is on bond for an assault against the same victim. Ms. Key's first name is Desiree, and that's spelled Decharae. Key.
Okay, I'm sorry. Ms. Allen, did you have a specific recommendation for bond amount?
No, ma'am. No, Your Honor, but we would absolutely be requesting through pretrial so that there's some kind of monitoring.
Okay.
We have attempted to get in touch with the victim in this case. We just haven't been successful yet. So we'd ask for no contact whatsoever and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right. And Mr. Howard, it's my understanding you can't take firearm cases, correct?
Yeah, we normally don't.
Okay. I'm sounding for Ms. Key at this time. All right, hearing and seeing none, Mr. Finley.
Yes, Judge. Miss Towns is 34 years old, Judge. She is from Atlanta, so she does have community ties. She also has a son here who is 1 year old. She did achieve her associate's degree not too long ago and does work part-time at a medical spa. Judge, as I do recognize, as we heard, she does have another open case. What I will say, as you know, obviously she is presumed innocent in that case. So that case is still open. Judge, finances are an issue in her life, as she is going to qualify for our services. I do recognize the seriousness of the charges, but I'm asking for a surety bond of $1,000.
All right. Defendant is going to receive a $3,000 surety bond, $1,500 on each count. She is to have no contact with the alleged victim. Additionally, she's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, including the subject firearm, and she will be reset to state all purpose on November the 9th. Was there a stay away requested, Ms. Allen? I don't believe there was. She is to stay away from that location as well.
I just want to stay away. No further contact. I'm sorry if I'm confusing everyone. The resident, I believe the location is actually where the defendant lives, and so we wouldn't be requesting her stay away from her own residence. Just no
Okay.
further contact with the victim, Mrs. Key.
All right, so strike the stay away, no further contact.
Okay.
I apologize. Is Key her only name or is that her first name, last name?
Her last name is Key. Her first name is
Desiree.
Desiree. I'll spell it for you again. It's Decharae.
Your Honor, can I say something? This is Erica Town.
I don't suggest that you do
Yeah.
so. I
Ms.
think the
Allen.
best thing to do is to speak to your attorney, because anything you say, the state is listening and is prepared to use it against you. Mr. Finley will give you a call, all right?
Yes.
All right, best of luck to you, ma'am. All right, can we take the next case? We can do either one. We have case numbers for both. All right, has ACDC come back on? Because I'll do that one. Okay, not yet. All right, who's this before me?
Tommy.
All right, Mr. Thomas, your case is 23 CR 006765F. You're charged with public drunkenness, criminal trespass, committing certain acts on a transit station or at a transit station, simple battery, and 2 counts of obstruction. Do you understand your rights? Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
11 total. Last arrest was in May. Trespass conviction, Cobb County. On probation for burglary and theft by taking in Cobb. 2022 violation of family violence order conviction. 2021 probation, disorderly conduct conviction. And all right, that's it.
Okay. Miss Allen?
And this was Thomas, correct? Sorry, I didn't.
Correct, yes.
Okay. All right, sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor. So Mr. Thomas was arrested after an interaction at the MARTA station at 5 Points, that's 30 Alabama Street, on October the 26th of this year. Specifically, he was seen to be extremely intoxicated, used profanity and loud, disruptive behavior and language. Police approached him. He refused to get off the eastbound train, actually disrupting service for a period of 5 minutes because of that refusal. He had already been issued a criminal trespass warrant, or excuse me, an order for criminal trespass to not return to the location, and had returned within 15 minutes and caused this disturbance. He slapped Officer Monica Rocco's hand away specifically, and then resisted police by tensing his arms, refusing verbal commands, and pulling away from them as they tried to get him under control and remove him. I believe those are all the charges. You heard his history. Those are all the facts that I think are relevant to share. We would ask for pretrial monitoring, obviously stay away from MARTA, and follow any ban orders that may be in place at this point. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Finley?
Yes. Mr. Thomas is 27 years old, Judge. He is from Atlanta, born and raised, so he made clear all of his friends are here, all of his family are here. So him returning to court would not be an issue. He did assure me. I did stress the importance of that. He has no kids. He does have part-time employment and works at Citgo and tries to get as many hours as he can. Judge, for the sheer fact that Mr. Thomas has no money and was very clear about that, I am going to ask for a signature bond on his behalf, but if not inclined, then a $500 surety bond.
Give me one moment. Okay, defendant is going to receive a $1,200 surety bond, $200 on each count. He is to comply with all active MARTA suspensions and stay away from MARTA as MARTA has dictated. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
Nothing further.
No, Your Honor.
All right. We're going to go back to the position 6, the ACDC position. Ms. Allen, do you have the history for, I'm sorry, I forget the young lady's name. For Ms. Dixon, do you have Ms. Dixon's history? We're going back to Ms. Dixon's case.
I do, Your Honor.
Is this your case or was it Ms. Baker's? I apologize.
It's me. It's okay.
All right. Please
Thank you.
proceed, Ms. Allen.
Ms. Dixon has a extensive arrest record, but for the most part, there's a robbery conviction that is in 2010. But for the most part, I'm looking at false information to police, criminal trespass, disorderly conduct, and drugs, Your Honor. This case deals with repeated returning to the package store, the East Point package store in East Point at 1805 Washington Road. She specifically had an order not to return that was issued June 30th of 2023. She returned to the location on the 21st of October, and police were called. When they arrived, she saw them and she tried to leave on foot. And then she provided officers with a false name and date of birth. She actually provided them with the date of birth and name of her cousin in order to mislead them about her identity and avoid arrest. We would be asking for a stay away from the location, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And we would leave the type of bond up to your discretion, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. Woodbury, it appears, and I could be wrong, Ms. Allen, you can interject as well, that she's been booked for 5 days on this charge. So, and Riverside would attach, and I have no choice but to give her a signature bond through the jail with the condition. However, I do believe I can set the condition and require her to stay away from that location. Does anyone have any objections to the signature bond through the jail, which I believe I have to give?
No, Your Honor.
No objection, Your Honor, and that would have been our argument, so.
Right, correct. All right, defendant receives a $6,000 SOB through the jail. She is to stay away from that incident location and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Is this 3 on each, Judge?
I'm sorry?
3 on each?
3 each, yes.
And also she'll be reset for November the 2nd's SAP calendar.
Why? If she got SOB through the jail, she has other charges?
She has a hold, yes, ma'am.
Okay, understood. But as to these, I have no choice but to give her that SOB.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to let her attorney know that she will be still in custody on some other charges.
Thank you.
All right. Best of luck to you, Ms. Dixon. That concludes your case at this time. And ACDC can be excused.
Next
All
one.
right.
Great.
All right, Mr. Gray, your case is 23 CR 006767Y. You're charged with loitering and prowling with the offense date of October the 27th. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard, did you have the history?
19 total. Last arrest was in February, burglary in the 2nd. That's open. 23 CP 216145. On probation for another burglary in the 2nd. 21 SC 179854. on probation for entering auto, 21 SC 177574. Aggravated assault against peace officer, 2 counts, 3 counts of regular ag assault, fleeing an officer, theft by receiving, criminal damage to property, 4 counts. 18 SC 160664. So he's on probation for all of them. Yes.
All right, understood. Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This case stems from an incident on the 27th at 8 a.m. This takes place at 915, which is a high-rise apartment building at 915 West Peachtree Street here in Atlanta. At 8 a.m. in the morning, Mr. Gray was observed walking around on 2 different levels of a parking deck, encountering and speaking to residents as well as guests at that location that is also not just a high rise with residences, but restaurants and other shopping. Approaching people while holding a large assault rifle that was found to be a replica. Asking to use their phone and asking and attempting to get into the building itself. This behavior caused the building to lock down based on information from property management. He had no vehicle in the parking deck, no friends or family in the building. He was on scene going from one level to another level of the parking lot, walking between cars, and again, approaching people, specifically a gentleman, one of the people who called the police because there was someone walking around with what looked like an assault rifle, took video of Mr. Gray, and he is seen approaching moving cars with a gun in his hand. Those are all the facts, but the facts are alarming. And considering that Mr. Gray was just convicted of aggravated assault against police officers from 2019, he's got an extensive criminal history. There's some concerns for safety and the behavior. So we would ask for a surety bond, Your Honor. Although what the gun was found to be was a replica, the state feels very clear that Mr. Gray knew people were afraid and what was going on around him. The whole building had to be locked down, and so he poses a substantial risk, would in the least be considered a menace. That kind of behavior is menacing and scary. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Woodbury?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Gray, he's originally from New York, but he's been in Georgia for the last 10 years. He has a mother and stepdad in Stockbridge, Georgia, and he tells me he is able to reside with them. Judge, he has a GED and he did attend UEI Morrow, which is a vocational school. He's unemployed at the moment, but he tells me he last worked doing photography. I didn't hear in the alleged facts that he pointed the gun at anyone. Judge, given his limited income, we are asking the court to consider a signature bond today.
All right. Defendant's going to receive a $2,000 surety bond. He's to stay away from that location on West Peachtree and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. As a reminder, he'll be reset to state all purpose on November the 9th. Is there anything additional?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I believe we completed the entire calendar, and courtroom 2 can be excused. Ms. Strong, will you review the calendar for me, please?
We done?
Give me 1 second, please. I'm trying to catch up on the stuff that was not on my calendar. I'm coming, Judge.
No problem. And yes, Mr. Howard, we are complete.
What did we say about loan? He's reset number 9.
Yes, reset medical.
Okay. I'm sorry. Position number 1 was a $3,000 signature bond through a pretrial per judge. Position number 2 was a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. Position number 3 was a $6,000 signature bond through pretrial. Position number 4, $1,000 good bond reset for November the 9th SAP calendar. Position number 5.
I got 1,000 good.
Thank you. I didn't write.
Everybody else got that?
I had the condition. I have it on my bond order.
Okay.
Position number 6 is a $6,000 signature bond through the jail, which is a Riverside case. Position number 7 was a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial. Position number 8 was a $1,000 good bond reset for November the 9th SAP calendar. Position number 9 was reset medical. Position number 10. What was it, Tucson?
5,000 per judge.
Thank you.
Number 7 was per judge as well.
Who was it?
Gabriel.
I asked that, I thought.
You told me number 7 was recommended.
Yeah,
did.
I think he said jail judge. That's why I
Yeah,
asked.
that's why. And judge, you said per judge. That's why. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So is it a per judge?
Yes.
What number was on?
Number
11. Reset medical. Position number 12, reset medical. Position number 13 was a $1,000 good bond reset for November the 9th SAP calendar. Position number 14 was a $1,500 good bond reset for November the 9th SAP calendar. Position number 1 on the add-on calendar was a $2,000 good bond reset for November the 9th SAP calendar. Position number 2 on the add-on calendar was a $1,200 good bond reset for November the 9th SAP calendar. And position number 3 was a $3,000 good bond reset for November the 9th SAP calendar.
Any comments, changes, corrections, questions, or otherwise?
Oh, you said, you heard it, 3,000, Tucson
For what?
Towns, that's the one you just asked me.
Oh, yeah. Number 6 was 3,000 or 6? Dixon.
Number 6.
Dixon is 3,000 each charge, 6,000 total SOB through the jail.
Okay.
Pursuant to Riverside. All right, everyone, we will be in recess until Monday's SCA calendar. Take care, everyone, and have a great rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank
Have a good
you,
weekend.
guys, and I appreciate your patience today.
All right, bye-bye, everyone.
Take care.